prepping and the proliferation of tactical into the community. Hey everybody, this is Michael with Asymmetrical Preparedness. A lot of people, me included, got into prepping via the tactical side of things due to my military experience and what I enjoy doing. But there has been I've seen a proliferation of, I like to say, tactical working its way into the preparedness community. All this Gucci gear, all these Gucci tools, you know what I'm talking about. Do you need it? Well, I'd say it depends. It depends on your situation, your skills, your abilities, your training. Do you need it? No, you don't need it. If you're highly trained enough to actually make use of the little tiny bit of improvements that your cool guy gear and systems can give you, then you are trained to also a level where you don't necessarily need all that Gucci gear. I get it, yes. Those little tiny bits, every little tiny bit that you can do to improve your survivability in a fight, go for it. But don't get caught up on all the Gucci gear. Don't get caught up on the $5,000 systems. No, $1,000 one will do you just as well. So try to get out of the mindset. A lot of people get into the mindset of military, especially prior military people. It's hard for us to get out of that mindset of military doctrine, military training. This is the way it's going to be. This is the way, it is. Why am I going there? What do I mean by that? I mean that the military is trained to perform and to function within the confines of a military. Having support, having backup, having air support, indirect fire, having a lot of equipment, supplies, basically an unlimited budget, and lots of guys, lots of people. We as preppers do not have all that. Some of us do have decent-sized groups of highly trained and well-equipped people. Yes, true. But we cannot function like a military because we're not. And I don't like going in that direction. Here, let me adjust the camera a little bit. It was sliding down, I think. Getting caught up in gear is just, I don't recommend it. Why? Because I would much prefer you spending that money on good quality training and or practice. Why would I prefer that? Because I want you guys to be well equipped, well trained, and proficient at defending yourselves, your family, your neighborhood, your tribe, whatever the situation may be. Training and your abilities, your skill sets are the things that are going to allow you to survive the fight. Potentially. You still may not, no matter how well trained you are. Special operations guys gets taken out by some old farmer with a 200-year-old bolt gun, and just because he's lucky, saw him first or whatever it may be. A lot of people glorify warfare also because they watch the movies, they play Call of Duty, whatever, and they've never been through it. I'm not knocking those people. They can't help it. They just don't know. But please don't glorify it. It's not fun. It's not pretty. It's ugly. It's horrible. It's sad. It's depressing. It is a lot of things, most of which are not good. Yes, there's camaraderie that comes along with it. Yes, there's skill sets that come along with it. There's confidence that comes along with it. So a lot of things maybe you can take away positives, but all in all, war is not pretty. War is not good. I don't want war at all. Zip, zero, nada. Do I train for it? Yes, of course. I feel it is necessary, but only those people that are in the mindset have the ability and capability to. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that everybody is not going to be a, tactical dude running around doing the things. Vast majority of preppers are better off filling the support role. And that's fine. That's just as important, if not more important, because the guys out there, boots on the ground, they won't be able to do what they're doing without that support, without that backup, without that food, the water, the medical supplies, all the things that the military has. So those roles are very important. Don't feel bad if you are, maybe it's your disabilities, maybe it's your age, maybe it's just your physical ability, maybe it's whatever it is, maybe it's your desire, maybe you just don't like doing that kind of stuff. That's great, that's fine. There's no problem with that. The preparedness world that's what's great about the preparedness world. There are so many roles to fill that you don't have to do that. Everybody doesn't have to be out there being a gunslinger. In fact, it's better off if more people or less people are in those roles, because some of the people that are thinking they're going to be in those roles aren't really suited for those roles. You got to have it up here. You got to be physically fit. Physically fit. I mean, I'm serious. You ever seen a heavy infantryman? Not unless they're older and they're getting ready to retire or they're behind a desk. If they're active in the field, infantry style role, I'm talking boots on the ground, it could be special operations, it could be mainline infantry, it could be scouts, it could be whatever. Physical fitness is one of the top priorities. Your mental acuity and your ability to adapt and overcome quickly and effectively are the things that will help you survive the fight. So, back to the idea of tactical gear. There's a lot of good gear out there. There's a lot of good gear that if you're at the point of your training where you're really good, then that gear may provide you, where your pouches are, where your stuff is, well organized, could give you that little microsecond that enables you to survive. True. But me, with my ability, I could throw mags in my cargo pockets, grab a tool, throw some food in a pack, some water in a backpack, or something like that, and I can go out and do the things. I don't need all that stuff. I want to have an IFAK with me, of course. First aid is important. Blowout kit for those traumatic injuries. That's another side of things, though. We're not really talking about that today. But those people that are out there doing those kind of things, if you're going to make holes, you got to know how to plug them. Medical is just as important, if not more important, than the other side of things. I would really like to encourage people to get away from the glorification of conflict, of martial conflict. It is not good. No matter how good you are, your team, your tribe, your community, whatever, will take losses. A lot of people, I see this as another thing. CQB. A lot of people love training CQB. Because, for the most part, it is easier to train CQB because it's easier to find places where you can the shorter distances in the ranges and or an old structure or something like that. You can simulate and train that style usually easier than you can open field stuff or mountain stuff. It is. It's a lot more difficult to do. But CQB is a last resort. I'm telling you. I know I see a lot of videos on YouTube, people, stacking up, kicking in the door, going in. I'll tell you what, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that unless I absolutely have to. If it's my family inside or one of my tribe members' family inside or some other situation like that, then yes, we may do that. But I see it all the time. Boom! Go in, that violence of action. Sure, I get the point. And the people that are trained to do that, and it's their job, they accept the consequences and the knowledge that they may not survive that. But us as preppers, we don't have the ability to take losses like that. For example, if I'm going to kick that door, I'm going to engage from outside as much as I can. We go into this kind of stuff all the time on Patreon. So if you want to check it out on Patreon, links in the description below. But for the average prepper out there, it is important to have good quality tools, decent gear. It doesn't have to be expensive. Condor gear works just fine. I run a lot of Condor gear, so don't disregard that. Don't get caught up on the gear. Get caught up on the training. I love you guys. Have a wonderful day, and blessings to you and yours.